Hi there. Welcome to our show, Building the World We Want. My name is Beth Green, otherwise known as Granny Rocks, and that's rocks. I had rocks in my mouth when I said that. And I am your host. And next to me
And this is
is,
James Maynard, otherwise known as Sweet Baby James, and I'm her sidekick.
that's right. He holds my hand so that I don't freak out or give up right in the middle of the show. So anyway, I'm very happy you're here. I know more of you will be coming. And I just want to tell you that if you are on my public Facebook page, facebook.com/Granny Rocks On, if you put in a comment, I will see it during the show. But if you're on the personal page, Beth Green, I will not see it. So don't be surprised if you write to me and I don't respond. On the other hand, in YouTube, you can put in a comment and I should automatically see it. So let's get going tonight with our topic, which is why is it so hard to give up things that hurt us? I mean, come on. You've got to admit, you've got a lot of that going on for you. At least I do. And I think everybody else does too. So don't you, James?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So okay, the most obvious thing, and I'm just going to put out some ideas. Oh, good. Todd said, hi, Beth and James.
Hello, Todd.
Hello, Todd. So glad you're here. It's great to feel the support, really. When we see people on, watching, it helps us. So the most obvious thing is you could say, well, it's a habit. I started doing it when I was 3 days old, or 2 weeks old, or 6 months old, or 10 years old, or when I was 20. For some of us, 20 was a long time ago. And it's just a habit. I don't think about it. It just happens automatically. Well, maybe it isn't quite that simple. So let's take a look at some of the kinds of things that we do that hurt us. And I want to say this is not just us. We have a society that does this. For example, oh, and Catalina said, good evening. And she sent a heart and a lovely other symbol. Good evening, Catalina. Amy says, hi, Granny Rocks and sweet baby James. Hi,
Hello,
Amy.
Amy.
Oh, it's so nice to see you all and to see you making comments, and we are not alone. So, the first thing, kind of thing, oh, yes, I was going to say that it's not just things that we do personally, it's things we do collectively. For example, women wearing one of my favorite things is high heel shoes. This is not just something that individual women do, it's a collective thing. Wealthy people keep being greedy and taking money higher, bringing themselves more and more money, and they wonder why the economy is wrecked because people can't afford to buy the goods, but they keep doing it. So, so what I'm saying is there are collective behaviors. Doing violence in sports, for example, it's another collective behavior that people do, and you say it hurts everybody to see these and these kids. They're even in high school and college that can get concussions and other kind of damage. So, and then we've just seen the Olympics with people pushing themselves and pushing themselves until they hurt themselves. So we see a lot of this. But let's take a look at why we do this. All right. One is the thing in itself is addictive. For example, you take sugar. Well, don't take sugar. That's the problem, is that too many of us take sugar. Any amount of sugar really that can, create in us a craving for sugar. I remember that I spent years having no sugar, not even fruit. And one day I thought, oh, a teaspoon of ice cream won't hurt. 2 years later, I was still eating ice cream and it did hurt and it was bad for me. So there are things that are physiologically addictive, like sugar, like alcohol. In fact, there's a phrase in AA, which is the drunk takes the drink takes the drink, and then the drink takes the drunk. And that really kind of describes it. It's like you get overtaken by the addiction. And I'm sure that this is true. I've never been a gambler. I'm too scared. But I can imagine you go out there, you gamble, you win. Oh, there's the addiction. Like, oh, yeah, if I do this again, I'm going to win more. But if you lose, you think, oh my God, I've lost money. Now I have to gamble. So the thing in and of itself creates the need for itself. Or you overeat, which so many of us do, and then we feel ashamed and miserable, and so we eat some more. Anyway, there you go. The second thing I want to raise is a different kind of reason that we keep doing these self-destructive behaviors is that we don't want to admit we made a mistake to start with. I voted for so and so. I won't mention the person's name, and so many people told me that he was a con man, a crook, a jerk, but I knew better. Or so many people told me he was great. And now I'm really beginning to think it was a mistake, but I don't want to admit it because then I'm admitting that I made that mistake before. So even though I feel more and more upset about it, I keep supporting this person because to not support him is to admit I was foolish. I was fooled, right? We don't like to admit that we were fooled, do we?
Nope.
Nope. Nope. All right. Now, another reason that it's very hard for us to give up a behavior is that others around you are doing the same thing and they're supporting your habit. I mean, I know this about alcoholism. They say if you don't want to slip, don't go to slippery places. I wouldn't go to a bar to discuss my sobriety because those guys are feeling terrible about their drinking and they have to defend it and they have to, many of them will pretend that it's not hurting them, even though they've just lost their health. And Brittany said, oh my God, I've missed you. Oh, well, it's so great to have you back. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Brittany. So there it is. They're going to be doing it, and they're not going to say, "Oh no, you've come back to the bar. No, go back to that AA meeting," because they want to justify their own behavior. So you're surrounded by people, and that's also true if you're in a cult. You're in a habitual environment which is denigrating to you as a woman, as a person, or as anything else. But there you are, all your friends do it. They all think that, and that social pressure is gonna get you. So also, not only do they have the same behavior, but they want you to have it because they don't want you to demonstrate that you can change this. Because then they say, well, what's wrong with me? Why am I not changing it? As I was going to say before, you've already lost your wife or your husband or your significant other. Your children aren't talking to you. You've lost your house. You've lost your job. You've lost your health. But oh well, no big deal, right? So now I want to get into yet another reason that it is so hard to give up these behaviors that hurt us is you don't realize that this behavior is causing these problems. You've got it in your head that it's them. It's somebody else or something else that's causing you this problem. It couldn't be that you are doing something self-destructive. Oh no. Oh no. It's a raw deal. The world has it in for me. And and therefore there's nothing I can do about it except to moan and groan about it. So I hope some of you have recognized yourselves in some of this. But now, and you don't want to realize that. I mean, for instance, let's say I woke up with a migraine every time I had a drink. Oh no, that couldn't be because I was drinking, could it? So anyway, and not even that I woke up with a migraine. I kind of had it while I was drinking. So and as I say, there are so many different kinds of behavior that's hurtful. And I want to talk about some of that. I mean, some of it is like it's physically hurtful. It's like some of it's economically hurtful. It ruins, it could ruin a relationship. But one huge thing about behaviors that are self-destructive is that we feel shame about ourselves, and we feel shame about our not being able to stop ourselves from doing a behavior. And Elizabeth says, hello, great question. Thank you, Elizabeth. So there it is. One of the worst things about doing things that are hurtful to us is not just the direct hurt that it causes, which I've been describing, but the hurt to our self-esteem, the hurt to our self-love that we tolerate. And we keep doing it. And it just tears us apart, especially if we have, let's say, an anger problem and we are yelling at a child, or we've hit a child or something and we have to look at the face. Or you're an ICE agent and you look at the baby that you've just incarcerated, or you take a look at the number of people that you've killed in detention. Don't want to know it. Don't want to know it. Let's pretend it's not happening. So personally, socially, politically, right? It's the same story. Now, I want to get to a final piece of this, and perhaps some of you can be thinking about how you play this out in your life, and I'd be loved to see your comments in the chat. For some of us, these terribly destructive and self-destructive behaviors are worth it in some way. And this gets very peculiar. Let's say I'm shooting heroin and I get high and I go into like la la land, or I take a hallucinogenic drug and I'm like, I don't have to feel reality. I don't have to deal with reality. I don't have to make breakfast for my children. I just have to go, And that experience of being stress-free, and I'm going to come back to this, is such a relief that even though you know that you are ultimately going to destroy your life, you don't want to face it because you don't want to stop. It feels worth it. Or you have an anger issue and you're going to blow up, and it makes you temporarily feel like a big woman or a big man or a big other. And in reality, in life, we don't feel very big. We feel pretty small, pretty helpless, pretty stupid, because we are. So anyway, we look for behaviors that are going to change the way we feel. And sometimes we feel so desperate that we will do them over and over just for that temporary relief that we get. So in a way, it's no different from taking a drug, because that drug is going to wear off and you're going to end up where you were when you started, only worse. But now there's another side of it's worth it. Let's say I'm a dancer, a ballet dancer, and I'm doing ballet on my toes, a toe dancer. I know I'm ruining my toes, or I would think so, but it's worth it. I love the dance. I love the way I look. I love the way I feel when I'm flying across the room. I love that experience. Now, I can share with you that I have one of those. I mean, I have a lot of these, but I have one of those where it feels like it's worth it, or at least I believe it's worth it. And this is going to get a little deeper as we go a little further. I am a musician. I love to play music. It kills me. My body hurts, my arms hurt, my shoulders hurt. My head hurts, my neck hurts. And as long as I can keep it so that I'm not completely crippled, I can't stop myself.
By playing a piano or a keyboard.
That's right.
Mhm.
Because I'm playing a piano or a keyboard and it hurts. Now, am I permanently damaging myself? I don't even want to know. Do I want to know? Do I want to know some reason that I need to stop this behavior that temporarily makes me feel so good, or even permanently makes me feel good, or I get praise for it? Because, see, there's a lot of ways it can feel good. It can feel good because I'm expressing myself. I don't sound like that when I play music. Thank God. But I can also be having a wonderful time because people say, "Oh, you're so talented. Oh, that was so beautiful." I'm like, I'm just laughing it up. It's like, "God, it's so beautiful." Yeah, I'm killing myself, but who cares, right? And you see the story of so many musicians who hurt themselves because they wanted to excel in their music and they hurt their bodies or they hurt their voices. I'm sure that Janis Joplin hurt her voice when she was singing. you know. Anyway, so there is that. God, it feels worth it. So sometimes you're damaging yourself permanently, and sometimes you're only hurting. So you say, "Oh, well, I'm hurting. I'll go into the hot tub if I could only get into the hot tub." So, so that is another factor. So things are not always simple to really to understand and to analyze. But now I told you I was going to go a little bit further with this. Well, maybe it's worth it because the alternative seems worse to me. For example, maybe I've got myself convinced that I won't get a husband or a lover or something if I don't wear a size 8 or 4 or whatever it is, or wear high heels, or have my hair dyed, or do something else which is actually unhealthy, or wear all this makeup that enters our skin and so on. And that the idea that I'm not going to be loved, that nobody's going to want me, is so much worse to me than putting toxins in my body with lotions and makeup and all of that stuff, or hurting my legs and my feet with high heel shoes. So I'm trying to avoid a deeper pain, a more painful something that I think I'm going to experience if I don't do it, especially when other people around me are doing it. But let's take this one step further. Maybe if I stop doing this, because let's take a breath right now. I've been giving you all these reasons that we do it, why it's so hard to give it up. But I also said, let's try to do it together. Let's also look at what do we get from giving it up and why don't we go for that? Right? I might be healthier. I might be more comfortable. I might be able to think about what I'm doing instead of feeling my bra is too tight or pinching in my waist or hurting me physically, or I'm worried. I'm spending all my time worrying about something and I have no peace. Look at all the positives of I stop drinking and my body begins to heal, even though every time I have a problem, I want to reach for that glass because I have to do something with my anxiety, and I've tried Prozac, right? So, so there is that. So, but we have to go through that withdrawal. But we have to find another way of dealing with that anxiety. Whatever the thing is that's triggering us to do that, we need to find a different way to deal with it. If we're being triggered into wearing clothes or doing something to our bodies to make ourselves look, competitive with other women. I'm talking about women now in this, but men are doing this now too. Sticking needles in their lips Oh my God, I just can't even believe people do that. I have so much pain, I would never inflict more on myself, but I probably have. Um, but not only will I be more comfortable physically, not only will I suddenly have energy that I've been losing by doing all these destructive things, but I am going to feel stronger because I'm going to overcome that self disgust that I talked about. That when we keep doing the behaviors over and over and over, we feel so disgusted with ourselves. And if I get over that self disgust, then what do you think will happen? And I want you all to think about this. Think of some behavior you have that you keep repeating over and over. Talking more than you need to and feeling embarrassed, interrupting. There's all kinds of behaviors: yelling, screaming, being critical, saying nasty things to yourself about you. All of these things that really suppress you or compete with somebody else or damage your body because you can't give up competition and you end up crashing at the Olympics, right? Think about something that you're doing, probably something you've done for a long time. And then I want you to imagine yourself not doing it, just doing something else. Gosh, I need to relax, so I'm going to go for a walk. Or Elizabeth is saying, I so easily focus on the negative side of things. So that's perfect, Elizabeth. So think about what would happen if you didn't. What would happen if you didn't? You would be stronger. I know it. I can feel it. You would love yourself more. You would trust yourself more. You would engage with other people more because you would feel less shame about yourself. You would be looking for different solutions. Elizabeth says, I wouldn't be so stressed out. Exactly. And why do those good things scare you? See, when I say that it's worth it, doing these negative things that hurt us, see, Todd said, I try to talk and look smart or relevant. Exactly. And if you didn't do that, how would you feel? More relaxed, more self love, all of the same things that I was saying before about all of us. And what are we afraid would happen if we felt stronger? We would take on more of the things that frighten us. The fear of the addiction or the addictive behavior, when you eliminate that, I just got distracted for a second because Brittany said, when you see your own shame in someone else's face and they don't even know, oh yeah, see, isn't that terrible? So how would you feel if you didn't have to feel that? And Todd said, I would look for validation and love elsewhere. You'd be taking a chance for the right, he says, for the right reason.
And I tend to go into prove it mode and set myself up for failure because, wait a minute, I'm of advanced years now and I have some cognitive impairment. And yet I keep trying to act as if I still got it. And then when I fail to do it, then I feel shame.
Exactly. So what are you afraid of if you stopped feeling shame? If you stopped, back to you, Brittany, what would happen? What would you take on? What would you confront in your life? Who would you confront in your life, perhaps? your family, your lover, your child, your dog, I don't know, your whole society, your entire political party, all your friends, the whole life that you've created for yourself that is somehow tied up in you with this behavior, all these behaviors, or you believe it is. And I am telling you that you would be free, you would be stronger, and you would have to confront fears that you don't even know you have. Or can't admit. If I don't keep swallowing the abuse that I'm getting from my friend Susie, and I stop feeling like a worm, I might not only confront Susie, but I might confront my father or my mother or the head of my church, the preacher or the rabbi, the leader of my political party. Say, you're lying, because you suddenly feel the power of integrity. The power of integrity gives you courage because you are whole. You see, when you're hurting yourself over and over, you are tearing yourself down. You're fragmenting yourself into different pieces that are fighting each other. And when you stop these self-destructive behaviors, you start to feel self-love. You start to feel whole. You start taking care of your health to the best of your ability. And you feel the power of your integrity. And then you become much less fearful, much more courageous, and much more effective. Now, I suggest to you, because we're coming to the end of our time, unless there's a lot more comments, I suggest to you that you think about this very deeply. James, you just yawned.
Yeah, I must be having some sort of resistance to looking more deeply into it.
Yes, we've been talking about James yawning in the show. He's sitting right here, and I'm not going to be embarrassed. Brittany said, we are all one, so hurting yourself is hurting others, including those you love. You
Yes.
are right on right. And hurting others hurts us. And there's no integrity in any of that. So, yes, you somehow feel threatened, like you have to think about whatever it is that you're afraid to confront. And you're going to feel that you're going to confront it. We're coming to a time in our nation where we all have to say no to the horrors that are being done in our name. And it's happening one by one, piece by piece. People are getting that. They're feeling the support. And if we need some help to confront what it is that's frightening us, let's get it. It could be getting counseling to delve into your childhood or your past or past relationships that have somehow messed with you. It may mean that you just need to hold somebody's hand so you can walk out and confront the bully, wherever that bully lies, if that bully is in your head or in the White House. We start to tell ourselves and others the truth. And we start to build the world we want, which is built on love, honesty, and oneness. Give this show a love or a like. on Facebook or give it a thumbs up on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the notification button and follow us on Facebook. Share this program if you feel so inspired. We want to convince YouTube and Facebook to send these programs out. In the meantime, tomorrow night, which is Thursday, James and I are going to do our program Music for Our Times at 7 p.m. Pacific time. And in that program, I play the piano and he sings. And yes, it hurts, but I do it anyway. And I love doing it. And we are doing this music to give ourselves the strength to go on and face the things we have to face. And it can be music that expresses our pain or our hope, love. It can be anything, but it all relates to what we collectively are going through. So please come back tomorrow night, Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, and come back to Building the World We Want next Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. Spread the word. We love you, and I thank you for the wonderful comments that we received tonight. So until next time, I am going to put on our theme music and hope that it actually plays, because James is a witness.